Today's guest is a living example of how embracing opportunities and taking bold risks can redefine your entire life. From quitting jobs that no longer align with her purpose to facing uncertainty of being let go, she found her way back to what truly ignites her passion: entrepreneurship. Her second chance story is all about realigning with her purpose, taking the leap of faith when it mattered the most, and rediscovering her worth in the process. You guys, a pivotal moment came when she was in the hot seat with David Shands, who challenged her to stop trading time for low pay and recognize her true value. That wake-up call became her second chance to bet on herself fully. And it's a journey that continues to inspire others to take the same risks, seize opportunities, and trust their potential. So please join me in welcoming Abeyon as we dive into her powerful story of faith, resilience, and transformation.
Ooh,
You like that, friend?
I like that.
You like that?
I like
but
that.
I definitely want to say that everything that I said is true.
Yeah.
Like, you took a leap. And I feel like entrepreneurs today they're afraid to take that leap.
Very.
So how was it taking that leap? Like, you literally was in the hot seat and was like, you know what? You're right. This isn't doing it for me.
I've been knew that when I worked at One Life, and I also had another job, HBCU Buzz, that it wasn't going to be for a long term. It was definitely short term. It was short time. You know, when you gotta catch up on your bills, you just gotta do what to do.
I need that quick lick.
That's exactly what I did, and I never took those things for granted though. I've always came in with a happy smile. Always talked to the folks when I needed to, engage with everybody, and I always said, you know, this is a season. And I remember even my pastor saying, like, don't confuse your seasons with your destiny. And when I realized that, I was like, Abeyon, like, you're just in a season right now. This is not something that is long term. This is short term. So when I got on that hot seat with David and he said, call my job and tell him I quit.
Oh my goodness.
And everybody thought it was fake. And I was like, no, like,
I was one of the everybody. I was like, this can't be real.
This is definitely real. I called them and I quit. And it was a good feeling. It was a release of, I'm back into the position I needed to be in to making sure I grow and I prosper.
Right.
Because I understood that from long times, jobs just did not make me happy. Working for someone did not make me happy. So I had to say, you know what? Even though he didn't have a contract in front of me, even though he could have called his people, it could have been fake.
Right.
He could have literally been like, nah, got you.
Like, dang, I got.
Yeah.
But you did what you felt like you had to do.
I felt very led. And people don't also understand that in that moment, I knew I wanted to work with David Shands for a long time. Like, that wasn't just like a quick, oh yeah, like she got to know. Like, I remember a year before I wanted to work with David, but the only thing was I have more clarity on what I want to do now. He understands that. He understands that, like, social media wasn't my big main focus. It was, I wanted to be a host or a media personality. Right. I know I love talking, engaging with the audience. Like, I know I love those things because I genuinely build connections. I want to know your story. Because why would I not?
Because why?
Why would I not?
Get in your business.
Exactly. And then it's also, you never know when a person just needs you to listen to them so they can feel better. You don't know how much you can make somebody's day by just listening and helping them feel understood.
It's simple.
It's really simple. And I love the fact that I was able to do that. And that's naturally that comes out of me. Because sometimes in my head, I'd be like, okay, I really need to hear this, but I'm going to let you get it. I'm going to let you get this
Thank you, though. Thank you. And you know what? I'm going to help you in the process.
Yes, I'm going to help you in the process.
It's crazy because, like, I quit my 9-to-5 3 years ago. And I was feeling the same thing. Like, I'm going to the job. It got so bad. I was being on the way driving to work. I was having anxiety attacks. That's when I knew that, yo, this is over.
Yeah.
Like, I've been here for 2 years. My time is done. I help y'all create this program, that program. I'm out. But in that out is searching inward to see, like, you know, let me make sure this is the right feeling. So in making sure the right feeling, you made sure it was the right feeling, but you had to check yourself. So who at that moment, who was Abeyon and who is she now?
Abeyon before was always listening to her parents of, you just got to do what you got to do right now. Abeyon now is, I'm not going to take for granted what I had the opportunity before, which was when it came down to like my parents, they always had a job. They always had security. Abeyon would quit. Abeyon be like, listen.
Call me Abeyon too.
Honey, I would quit and I'll figure it out later. And I had to also get over the fact that sometimes stuff may be rocky a little bit, but I have to keep moving forward. And that Abeyon now is taking those chances. That Abeyon now is not letting up on what she was before, but having more clarity on the journey that she's on now. And now I get to refocus and change my perspective on entrepreneurship. It can be hard, but it's the people that you surround yourself with that makes better connections, that makes better opportunities for you. It's the things that you genuinely build. It's the things that you work for. And yes, you may have to work after hours, but when you sit there and you think about all those time and hours, you sit there and wait on a paycheck for somebody else, you're going to realize like, dang, I could have done the same thing if I would have put that same amount of effort, but most people don't want to put the effort. And I can be very honest. I was one of those people. Listen, I don't want to work.
I'm on your clock, but baby, I don't feel like doing this. I don't want to do it.
I don't want to do it. And even in entrepreneurship, it was hard for me because I was in the beginning when I was trying to be a social media manager. I was like, oh, I'll get this money. But when a client left, I was like, ooh, wait a minute. I'm not happy no more. What's going on? And I will always I will always go back and forth of like, okay, I need stability and all this stuff. But when I realized God never put me in corporate jobs for a reason, because my personality, who I am, would never be able to fit in that place.
I like how you know, even looking at your videos on social media, you keep it relevant that, yes, I'm doing this and I'm taking this leap of faith, but this faith ride is not easy. But what makes it easy is your relationship with God. And, I feel like some people shy away from saying that, God is helping me with this and God is helping me with that. Why do you continue to allow people into your world of faith?
Because I know the testimony that I got from God from that. When I was, let's just say, just of the world. And I realized that like I needed something to anchor me. And even before I knew I wanted to be a media personality, when I decided to quit my job at Napstar ATL, which was my first job I quit to become a social media manager, I was like, I need faith. I need something that's going to anchor me. And I realized every entrepreneur I saw had some type of whatever they were connected to. It was some faith. It was that faith that they had. I got mine. And I was like, I needed that. And when I really took it, it was last year, September 10th, when I found my church home and everything. And just from the prophecy, the promises, and to really see them fulfilled, it's like I would never question what God has for me ever again. And even though it can be hard sometimes, don't get me wrong, I'll be like, God, what are we doing?
Listen, I told you earlier, like, all right, now, God, I need this expeditiously, and I need this exponentially. Like, I need this big, and I need it quick.
Exactly.
Let's not forget about the quick. And let's not forget about the big. So I need them together.
We need them combined in.
That part.
And with that, I just saw changes, not only in my career, but also in my personal life. The things I wouldn't accept, the standards I had to, really break down the ones that I had and rebuild them up. Rebuild my foundation, a firm foundation to where like, I'm not settling for X, Y, and Z. And a lot of people at my age are like, Abeyon, but have fun. You're 23 and all this stuff. But I sit there and I'm like, it's not saying that I want to be working.
I'm not going to have fun.
Yeah. It's like, I'm not going to have fun if I'm not working in my purpose.
And if I'm not happy. And I tell people all the time, like, when people think about second chances, they think about defeat. They think about you in the mud, in the trenches. But every second chance story isn't in the trenches.
It's not.
Every second chance story does not have to end or start with you being in the mud. Like, there are beautiful second chance stories. Yeah. And I mean, right now you're in your second chance era. I mean, you still glowing, you still learning. And what would you say, being in your second chance era, what have you learned so far?
To value myself more. To understand that there's a process with the journey that I'm on, and I have to enjoy the process.
Say it one more time.
That there's a process in the journey that I'm on, and I have to love the process.
Yes.
And really go through it, because a lot of people go back and be like, dang, it was the process that I liked about it. It was a process on this journey that kept me going.
Yes.
And to realize that, I was like, okay, Abeyon, yes, I'm very hard on myself, but I have to understand that this was not of a coincidence that I'm in this room with you. This is not a coincidence that I work for David. David could have picked anybody.
Anybody, yo.
Anybody. When I say that I knew that God opened that door for me, was because he understood that I'm telling you the reason why you didn't get them jobs, them corporate jobs that you've been applying for all these years. The reason why you didn't do this is because
you about to talk now.
I know the room that you're actually supposed to be in. I know that your name is going to speak volume in this room, and that you're not going to switch up on me once you reach a certain level. You're not going to stop reading your word. You're not going to stop loving me and thanking me for what I blessed you with. Because at the end of the day, God gives you these gifts. And also he moves the needle. You may put in all this work, but he moves that needle. He moves that needle.
To the left, to the right, front, back. He has all control.
Exactly. So it was, okay, God, like, you're putting me in this second chance.
Yes.
Because you understand that this is where I'm meant to be. I may have not realized it before, and I only looked at it in monetary value, but I looked at it so much differently now, knowing now what I love to do. Because I don't take it for granted that I'm here. I don't take it for granted where the places I've been placed. I say, you know what? What is it that you have me on the mission for to do? What do you need me to do?
And also the placement. Like, I feel like in our second chance, we know when we're in that era because of the placement. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, how you got chosen, then when you got chosen, you was on the show, and then on the show, you was asked to call your job to quit, which, you know, that ain't no thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, quit, okay. But
I handle it professionally though. I hope people do that. I didn't just go crazy. Like, I actually was like, "Are you sure you want me to do this online, like on air?" I was like, "I feel like this is
that
not
professional?"
I was like, "Is this professional?" Because I don't want to be rude. Because at the end of the day, Nick was a good manager. He wasn't a bad boss. We talked about God. We talked about our lives and what we're gonna do. I truly vibe with my manager Nick. Like, Nick was a dog to me.
Shout out to Nick.
Yeah, shout out to Nick. But yeah, when I did it, that was just a blessing.
Listen.
You know?
And now being a full entrepreneur, like, it's a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah.
So how do you keep yourself today grounded during those ups and downs?
I can honestly,
it's a lot.
Yeah, it very. I can honestly say that it hasn't been so easy. And I can honestly say I haven't been keeping myself grounded as much as I should. The reason why I say that is because I knew I didn't want to just be a one-time hit wonder. I was like,
I want my business to go on forever.
Yeah. I was like, September, I felt like the only great thing, and I literally told David this, I said, I felt like the only great thing was I was able to move in my first place.
Yeah, shout out to the new place.
Thank you.
Shout out to the new place. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You ain't on nobody's couch.
Exactly.
Shoot. Because entrepreneur will put you on somebody's couch. Entrepreneurship will put you on the couch quick. I done slept on a couple of couches. Shoot.
But beforehand, I did do Invest Fest 2024. I did do Podcast Summit.
Yes.
I did do Taste of Alpharetta. I did. And those are good, big, major moments. But I lost myself a little bit because I was like, oh my gosh, like, I don't want those to just be moments.
Yeah.
And
you
then
can get lost.
Yeah. And then nothing happened in September. I'm like, ooh, hold on.
Bring August back.
I was like,
bring July back.
I was like, wait a minute. And then now we're in October. And I remember I told David, I was like, I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling weary because the emails, the pitches, and everything like this, they're not getting through. You know, they'll reach out, don't have the budget. They'll reach out, or it's just too expensive, or they'll just don't reach out at all. And so it's still trying to find my footing on, okay, what's a good price where I'm valuing myself and I'm not just taking a cheap shot. Because, you know, when you take those little short ones, it's not saying that they're not good, but at some point you're going to get burned out.
You're going to get burned out, yeah.
So
and I feel you, because it also goes back on the process, like you said earlier. Second chances can come today, and then everything get good. Next week, everything get good. Next month, it's like it's a continuing thing. But I feel like in these chances that we get to redefine ourselves, to refine our purpose, to navigate, to pivot.
Yeah.
Like it's part of the process for our greater good of that final big picture.
Yeah.
But we gotta go through the process.
We definitely gotta go through the
Is
process.
it easy?
No.
Is it hard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much.
Very much. So I wanted to talk about the impact of David Shands and your career transition.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned that being in the hot seat with David was a pivotal moment. Walk us through how that experience really helped you when it comes to being the entrepreneur, because you're always around them, you're always in there, in the room with them. So how has it, kind of mold your entrepreneurship and your focus when it comes to media?
How has it molded me? For sure, the people that get in the room, don't ever take it for granted. When I say that, I'm talking about if you are trying to pitch, like for instance, Earn Your Leisure. Earn Your Leisure, I was nervous, baby. They came the first time around, I was like, oh. I was like, no, I'm gonna be quiet. And Dave was like, did you pitch to them? I was like, no. He was like, Abeyon. He's like, you got another chance. They come back again tomorrow. And that's when I did my pitching, and I was like, that's when I got more comfortable. Mm-hmm. That's when I wasn't stop feeling scared or stop feeling like, it's like, what is it gonna do if they say no? I'm gonna be in the same exact position. That no ain't gonna do nothing for me.
All.
Like, but if they say yeah, but prepare me. But the yes, once you get a yes, you're like, oh
Lord, we are waiting for our yes.
Yes. Like once you get that yes, you're like, wow, now it's just second nature. Now it's, you're not scared to walk up to somebody or in a networking event and be like, hey, I am this. I do this. I want to help you by this. Having your X, Y, and Z statement down pat, having your pitch down pat. That was something that I learned. And also, you're always going to have to pivot. I see David pivot so many times. Like how he used to do, Social Proof Podcast is still big. But he used to always interview major artists, major entrepreneurs, major people. But now he's so focused on the hot seat. Hot seat's not bringing in just as much as the Social Proof. Yep. But he says this is the new wave because it's like everybody's interviewing big people. But when you really find someone that you can help and grow, people stand behind that because that's community that's built. And that community would never change on you because they realize the value that they see in you and the value that they get from other people if they're too scared to take on their own entrepreneurship journey. So just in that's really a nut bunch of it. Yeah, that's really like a nut of it. And he's always keeping me on my toes too. Like a lot of people, a lot of people, they were like, Abeyon, why did you take a bigger cut? Why did you ask for higher pay? Which is true. But I was so nervous. One, I was nervous. And I was just so excited.
Listen, is this really happening?
Yeah, is this really happening too? But then also, I don't think people understand me working with David is a front row view of what I get to learn.
That's an investment right there.
That's a whole investment. Some people have to pay $3,000 just to get with this man.
You get it for free.
I get this man for free. And when I say, and he even said this on one of his episodes, he was like, y'all think Abeyon's being taken advantage? She's taking advantage of me. I'm asking all the questions. I'm saying, hey, you connected to this person. I want to do this event.
As you should.
How do I make this work?
As you should.
And that is what I do. But I also don't take it for granted. And I also be a servant. Because God always says be a servant to others. So I don't sit there and just be like, take. I'll be like, David, what do you need? Do you need me to stay extra hours for this? Do you need me to work on this? Like and I think that's what also makes me a good candidate for that, even in that space. Like my energy, who I am. He was like, don't ever lose that smile. Don't ever lose your energy. He would say that to me because he's like, that is your money. Like that's right there is your money.
That's your money. And also in all of that, you're building community. And I want to talk about building the community because again, going back to quitting and like you said, your parents, their story was different.
Yeah.
So how was it with them being your community and helping you along this process? Because I feel like as entrepreneurs, that community can be thin ice.
Yeah.
And then in building a community, sometimes we have to also educate our community. So how was building a community?
When it came down to family, My dad was like, there's only one thing I'm upset about, and that is you not asking for higher pay.
Oh,
that was it. He was
okay.
like, that was it. He was like, that was it. Because he said, you literally asked for this and you talked to me about this like 2-3 days ago and you got it. But also my dad did not remember that I wanted to work with David last year. So, I was like, yeah, that is true.
Right.
But this was a process. And then when it came down to my stepmom, it was more so like, why didn't you keep this job? Why didn't you like still have this other job? Because you could still work both. But I just say, why am I in this space and I'm still thinking about working for someone else? Like I'm already working with David and you're telling me you want me to get another job? And I get it. A lot of people security, but when I say my God is bigger,
that part,
that means that I shouldn't have to work. Like I didn't get in this place for no reason, but there's no coincidence. God know what these bills look like. It was
not me.
God knows what these bills look like. Like he ain't stupid. Like he ain't stupid.
He know the bills. He know the bills are coming today, tomorrow, next month.
He know what the checks look like. He know all that. And I also told myself, why am I putting myself back in the same position? If I work with David and got another part-time gig, I'm still like working with HBCU Buzz and One Life at the same time. But it's like, no, Abeyon, like it's time to actually take a chance. It may take a minute, but when I say I have a community, even just with the videographers, the photographers, David, his people, my coworkers, which I genuinely love them. Yeah. Like we're a family. It's like I built so many relationships. I'm like, these are so precious to my heart. I never want to lose that.
I feel like also in having a community and building a community, and also sometimes we have to also educate our community, because for me, I would say, I would use when I found out that I contracted HIV. Even though my mom and my godmom and some cousins were there for me, I still had to, and they were my community at that time. I had to still educate my community. Yeah. I had to educate them because it was something out of the norm for them. Same for you, like your parents, it's something new. Yeah. So he's like, I know that y'all my community, but I also have to educate y'all so that y'all can support me correctly.
Exactly.
Like it's like a 2-in-1.
My mom is even telling me now. She's like, are you gonna get like a side hustle? You're 23. You could get another job.
Watch
like
me
you can
work, Mom.
I was like, Mom, I'm working in my business. That's not really a side hustle. That's the main thing.
Listen.
That's the main thing. I was like, that's the main thing. So yeah, like you can see me working that. You know, you can see me do that. But she was like, at your age, when I was at your age, I was working all this, and I said
it's a different time.
And I'm like, that is such a different time. But also, it's like you can't blame them because that's what they learned from their grandparents. Right. Like that's what they learned from their own parents, and so on and so forth. But for me, it's different for me. I'm like, I don't have the responsibilities like y'all had. I am able to live the life that I want to live. It's just that I know I have to do the work to get there, and I'm okay with that. And I'd rather not even regret it. That's the one thing. I feel like when parents find that job that they're comfortable with, get that 401k and all, that's it. I feel like in the back of their mind, they still have that feeling of, dang, if I would have done interior designing like I truly wanted to do, what would I have been? My dad, when I realized I was basically following my dad's footsteps just in a different route, he was a big radio host.
Shut up.
Yeah, so I'm like, Abeyon, like, you're meant for this. Like, your dad was...
It's embedded.
Yeah, it's embedded in you. Like, your dad wanted to be this big, huge, like, and he was on his way, but life happened. And so, Abeyon, like, you're in the field that you need to be in, but now are you going to surpass? Are you not going to let life or society or time tell you when you should be able to make it? Because that also is what happens. That's what is a mental battle, is when you're sitting here and you're like, dang, I see all these other 23, 24-year-olds doing it. And I'm like, where my time? Like, how do I get there? Like, what happens? And I have to stop looking at that. I have to stop saying like, my timeline on when I make it is only between me and God.
Right.
I
want to go back because you said that this was not the first job that you quit. Yeah, that you are the queen. You are the queen of Quitting jobs.
Quitting jobs for sure. For sure.
Do you always give a 2 weeks notice?
No.
Hold up. I thought you were gonna say yeah. Oh shoot. Hold up. So you just quit?
Yeah, my first job that I quit, I was doing Napstar ATL. They're a big like hair lock company, and I remember talking to my mentor, and I was like, I can't do it, because I remember like the owner came at me sideways after we just got back, and COVID was happening.
Let's go.
And I was like, whoa. She was like, Abeyon, I need you to stop playing, stop giggling, all this stuff.
Oh, girl, I quit.
And I said that, I was like, this is my energy, this is my personality. And in my head, I'm like, this is what makes everybody laugh in this building while they sit here doing hair for hours. For sure.
Abeyon, I have never met someone who had me beat at quitting jobs.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think you got me beat.
You only did 2?
I did 6 months. I did 1 year. I did 2 years. And this job I'm working now, I'm about to be another 6 months.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got me beat.
My community, my family, I understand that they might not understand entrepreneurship route so much.
But they got your back.
Yeah, but they got my back to like, it's like, okay, Abeyon, so what's next? That's literally their answer, like, so what's next? And I just be like, hey, if I got something next, I got something next.
if not,
we gonna figure it out. We gonna figure it out.
I think that's how it was for me. My last job that I quit. So have you ever been in a moment where you had a cry of relief during entrepreneurship?
Ooh, plenty of times.
Let's talk about it.
Plenty of times.
Because I just feel like everyone wants to be an entrepreneur, but they don't understand what comes with it.
And what's so crazy, even in my moment of being an entrepreneur, I didn't understand what come behind it. And that's where a lot of my cry release had to come out. Because I was like, oh my gosh, like if I feel so much pressure, I feel like if I don't do what's right, or if I don't do what I need to do, everybody's going to look at me like, wow, she didn't make it, And that's pressure I put on myself, because I'm like, I have to. I want to be the person that builds even more. My dad is definitely building generational wealth, but I want to be able to exceed more.
Right.
I want to be able to show in my family that we can pursue our dreams and succeed at it. It's not just a simple, because life happens, you don't do it no more. Like I cry. I'm a crybaby, first of all. I will cry.
Tissue, please.
Yeah, like I will cry. I'm a crybaby because that's just how I express my emotions. I'm very passionate. And so there's a lot of releases I had to just understand that I don't need to look at, like, I remember my friend literally said this to me, stop looking at my chapter 2 as their chapter 20.
Ooh.
And that makes so much sense, because while I'm around David, Donnie, you start thinking like, dang, I'm around all these peers. Even y'all.
But you forget about that journey.
Yes, I forget about that journey. When I hear about you, your friends, everybody telling their story of where they are and how they making money, owning a house, all this type of stuff. I'm thinking like, oh my God, I'm put around this. And I'm like, why am I, what's going on? Am I not doing what I need to do? I don't want to feel like I'm not growing, But that was my own inside, my own negative opinion about myself. That is not how everybody viewed me. And I had to get over that. I have to go over the hump of, you're going to have slow seasons. You need to push forward. There's going to be times when you don't want to do it. You need to keep doing it, Abeyon. Because I realized there was a moment that I did quit on myself in my business. And when I realized that, I kept saying like, I didn't quit. But I remembered the pitching stopped happening. I stopped doing pitches. I stopped doing calls. I stopped doing this. I was like, there was a short period of my mind that I quit on myself. And I was like, I can't do that.
How are you ensuring that you don't quit on yourself this season?
How am I ensuring that? I think it's taking a day at a time. And I also think it's just going through the days and having those schedule sets, having a task list, to where it's like, you need to do this every day. If this is the minimum, this is the minimum. Because at least you did something that will move that needle. All right?
The moral of the story, move that needle.
Move that needle. And also know that there's going to be days that maybe you just need a time for yourself. Because like we said, we don't want to get burnt out. We don't want to sit there and get overwhelmed and overworked, because one thing I do feel like in entrepreneurship, you have to take care of yourself before you give it to others.
That part.
Because if you give it to others and you don't take care of yourself, you're going to sit there and they're going to look at you like crazy. They're going to be like, what happened to this fun person that I met? Now they acting all, mean, rude, and disgusting. And that's not who you are. You just didn't take time for yourself. And so it's having that balance. But also just to remember in the beginning stages, in this period, I'm on my journey of growing. I'm building that portfolio.
You're building that legacy.
I'm building that legacy. And that's going to take time. And I have to realize that, like I said, my chapter 2, I can't look at it as their chapter 20.
You also, in building your legacy, I know that you said that your father has built a legacy. What legacy, and still building, what legacy do you want to leave behind? And I would say in media.
Oh, in media.
Because that's, that was your whole purpose of quitting the job and going with David, like media.
Yeah.
So what legacy do you want to build?
That's a good one.
Say it again.
No, but that's a good one. The legacy I want to build in media. I just want to, it may sound cliche, but really be true to yourself. Be that authentic person, because people see through that facade.
We said that earlier.
Yeah, people see through that facade. Find your purpose. Like, if it's in media, what route? What route speaks to you and speaks volume? Because at the end of the day, if it's not happy, if it's not something that makes you fulfilled inside, then you're going to be where I was years ago, like crying and trying to figure out what am I doing with my life? Because I know I don't want to just keep working for the life.
I like that. What advice would you give our second chance viewers when it comes to jumping into entrepreneurship, having faith and trusting that it's going to turn out the way that you see it?
Don't take for granted your second chance.
Say it again.
Don't take for granted your second chance, because if you do, you don't know if God's going to give you another one. He might find another person that would do it for him.
I say that all the time.
And then once you have that, you can't blame nobody but yourself, because God has shown up and given you the opportunities, but you did not execute. You said, you know what? I'm gonna sit back on this one.
I'm gonna sit back on this one.
It don't make sense to me. And people do say, like, stuff that is supposed to come to me is supposed to come to me. But if you don't show God the work that you're putting in,
faith without work is dead.
Exactly. If you don't show that, then why would he just hear? Why would he be like, I know you can handle this? He's not gonna give you anything that you can't handle. So if he see that you can't handle what he's already given you,
don't take it back.
He's gonna give it to someone else and take it back. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, Abeyon, thank you so much for coming on Second Chance and telling your second chance story. Even though you're still in your second chance era, you're blossoming, and it's beautiful. Second chance look good on you.
Second chance, baby. Second
Listen,
chance.
and I have a gift for you.
Yes.
It's for coming on.
Ooh,
it's a self-care goodie. Because I feel like in entrepreneurship and during our second chance eras, we need that time, like you said, to ourselves. We need that time to redefine, that time to woosah.
Yeah.
Especially as an entrepreneur.
Very.
So this is, my gift to you, so that when you're in that era of woosah and redefining and going back to the drawing board, you have some things to help you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, girl.
You're welcome. Y'all better tune into this one, baby. Second chance.
Y'all heard that. Listen, it's been your host, Johneri'O Scott, the second chance expert, and my guest, Abeyon. You guys, make sure y'all tune in to all the amazing things you have going on. Let them know how they can stay tuned and connect with you.
Listen, you can connect with me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Who is Abeyon?
Ooh.
All right?
Who is Abeyon?
Because the journey is still continuing. It's still growing. Just as yours should be too. So I'm still figuring myself out. Listen, I ain't got no shame in that game.
Listen, we all are. And on that note, we're out. Thank you so much for tuning in.